Here's how to play Gaia Project, The Lost Fleet. I'm only going to be talking about new things from the expansion with the assumption that you know how to play Gaia Project already. The first thing that's important is during setup, you're going to set up the board leaving gaps in the middle here. And these gaps get filled in with these tiles that are specific to player count. So in this case, I've kind of set up a 2-player game. And these tiles go randomly in these middle slots here. These tiles allow you access to what are called the Lost Fleet. You'll notice this symbol here matches that symbol there. That is one of the Lost Fleet ships. In a 2-player game, which I kind of have set up here, you only use 3 of the Lost Fleet ships. There's also a 4th ship that is used in a 3 or 4-player game that I will talk about as well. In addition to setting up those middle sectors, you're also going to set on the outside what are called deep space sector tiles. And so you'll see them listed or placed around the board there. I'm going to set this one here. They do have multiple sides that you can place randomly. And when you put this in here, these kind of fill in these little gaps around the edge of the board. This also introduces a new concept in this game, which are 2 new planet types. We have protoplanets and we have asteroids. After you put out your starting board like this and you put in these middle sectors and these deep space sectors, you're also going to take this new tile that comes with the game that talks about protoplanets and asteroids, and you're going to use that to cover up the QIC actions from the base game. The QIC actions are no longer available, but you will see them listed on the lost ships there. So we'll talk about that momentarily. Protoplanets are very simple to understand. Protoplanets are always accessible by any player by doing a triple terraform. When you land on a protoplanet, you also get 6 points for doing that. So you'll see there are multiple protoplanets available. Asteroids are more interesting. An asteroid allows you to use your Gaia former units, the ones that you get by going up the purple track here. Normally, you use your Gaia formers to turn purple planets into green planets during the Gaia phase, which takes 1 round. Now, you have the option to permanently sacrifice a Gaia former to then build a mine on an asteroid. So, assuming you have access to an asteroid, you can then build on it. So, in this case, if I was here, assuming I had access to this, I could sacrifice this permanently so it gets removed from the game, assuming I have it, and then I get to take a mine and put the mine on an asteroid. What's nice about doing that, actually, is when you do this action specifically, you don't actually have to pay for the mine, so it's a way to put out a mine without paying 2 credits and an ore. The last thing to do during setup that's a little bit additional is underneath the main board here. We have this extra tile that shows you protoplanets and asteroids are available. And this gives you the option to put another advanced tech tile here. Now, the criteria for this advanced tech tile is one of 2. You can either force the player to have 25 victory points, and then this becomes accessible to them, using the same rules as normal standard or advanced tech tiles. The second one is this, using what are called shuttles. And shuttles are the kind of final new component to the Lost Fleet. And every player board now comes with a sideboard and these 3 shuttle figures. The shuttle figures are what allow you access to the Lost Fleet ships. The way shuttles work is there's a new action in the game. I think it's called Exploring a Lost Fleet ship, which allows you to pay, for most factions, 5 victory points to then take one of your shuttles and put it out on one of the Lost Fleet ships that you have access to via range. So in this case, assuming we're starting the game, since I'm directly adjacent to the TF Mars shuttle here, I would take this shuttle and act as if I'm putting it here. You don't actually put it on this tile. There are spots on the shuttles themselves up here that allow you to put them down. I put that shuttle down, and that then grants me access to that Lost Fleet ship. You'll notice the second, third, or fourth players to go there will get a little bit of a passive power charge. The shuttles allow you access to the ships, and the ships give you access to basically three different things. Firstly, it's going to give you access to new actions, QIC actions, some power actions, and even some actions that require money. This action here, for example, requires $3, and then you get to terraform and build at a 1 terraform discount. They also give you access to new tech tiles that come in the game. There are 3 new ones. There's another one over here that I left because it's not in the 2-player game, considering you don't use the Rebellion ship. There are 3 new tech tiles you can get access to, so if you have access to this ship and you gain tech, I can then take this tech as well as any of the base game tech. This technology follows the same rules as if you took one of the tech down here, meaning that this symbology allows you to move up any track when you take this tech here. These techs as well allow you to move up any track down here when you take them. Finally, you'll notice there's also new Federation tokens that have gold borders. You take these Federation tokens and put them on these spaceships as well. If you ever form a Federation and you have access to a Lost Fleet ship, you can take a Federation token from the Lost Fleet ship as your Federation tile instead of the base game ones. To go over some of the actions that are new on the Federation or on the Lost Fleet ships, this action here is 2 points plus 1 point for every base tech tile you have. This is a brand new type of action, which is use a Gaia former to turn a transdim planet into a Gaia planet immediately for 2 power. So normally, again, you're going to take your Gaia former, you're going to move an amount of power from your bowls, 1, 2, or 3, into your Gaia area. You're going to place this guy on a purple planet, a transdim planet, if you will. At the end of the round, you're going to get your income to start the following round. The Gaia phase happens, that turns green. This action allows you to skip all of the power moving to your Gaia former area, and this purple planet becomes green immediately, assuming you at least have a Gaia former unit. You actually have to have a Gaia former to use that action. I can then build on that green planet as if it went through the normal Gaia forming phase, meaning I don't have to pay a green cube to build on it, a QIC. Then I get the Gaia former back as normal, and I could then use it as a standard Gaia former unit on a transdim planet this round. It's a neat new action. This new action is spend 3 power and 2 knowledge to move up a technology track of your choice. This is spend $6 to put a mine on an asteroid. This allows you to do this action without having to sacrifice a Gaia former permanently. This action allows you to upgrade into a research station, I believe that's what they're called, from a trading house. So normally this costs you $5 and 3 ore. This one costs you 3 power and 2 ore instead. This gives you a one-time range boost for just a knowledge. This other Lost Fleet ship gives you 3 QIC for a tech now instead of 4. This lets you upgrade a mine into a trading house for 3 and 1 instead of $3 and 2 or $6 and 2. And then finally, this is $2 and a QIC for 2 knowledge. The last action that's new is the Twilight ship has these tokens on it. These are called artifacts. If you have access to the Twilight, you'll notice this ship does not have technology on it. Instead of having tech, this has a new action, which is listed as action number 12, which is take an artifact. You can kill 6 power from any of your 3 bowls to permanently take one of these artifact tokens. You'll notice they have a myriad of different effects. This one gives you power income. This one gives you a one-time bonus. This lets you rescore one of your Federation tokens, which is the exact same action as that. And this is a scoring token. So the standard rules that Gaia Project apply for the most part. What's new is that every faction has a sideboard now as well. The new planet types, the spaces, and the deep space tokens around the edge. And the last thing that's new in the Lost Fleet expansion are going to be the 2 new faction colors and the 4 new factions. So you've got your blue faction here. which you'll see they actually start on protoplanets, but they do not have protoplanets as their home type. There is a setup process to go through to figure out what planet types they have. The other side are the space giants, which will be familiar to a lot of Terra Mystica fans, except now we are in space. They, again, start on a protoplanet. All of planets for them cost 2. The other color we have is pink. Pink starts on an asteroid. They also have 1 cost for all of their planets. Notably, both of these factions, both colors have 2 costs for green planets. And then finally, this faction here gets some special neat things with this. They get to choose a bonus essentially every round that they're Planetary Institute, and they actually start the game with their Planetary Institute, much like the Ivets. And that is what's new in Gaia Project Lost Fleet. I hope this helps you learn and get started.